It's October 22, 1989, and the small town of St. Joseph, Minnesota, hums with the quiet rhythm of a Sunday evening. At the Wetterling home, 11-year-old Jacob laughs with his brother Trevor, 10, and best friend Aaron Larson, planning a quick bike ride to the Tom Thumb convenience store for a video. The air is crisp, the streetlights casting long shadows on County Road 12. Their parents, Patty and Jerry, are out, so the boys call a neighbor for permission. "Be careful," she says. They never make it back. A masked man emerges from the darkness, his voice low and commanding, shattering their carefree night. What kind of predator hunts children in a town of 2,700? If real-life crime stories intrigue you, hit subscribe for more. In St. Joseph, a place where doors stayed unlocked, this abduction would stun a community. The boys pedaled down a familiar road, unaware of the danger lurking just beyond the glow of the streetlights. Jacob, a bright kid who loved hockey and math, led the group, his red jacket visible in the dusk. The store was less than a mile away, a trip they'd made countless times. But at 9:15 p.m., a figure stepped from a ditch, his face hidden, a gun gleaming. "Stop," he barked. The boys froze, hearts pounding. One eerie detail lingers: the man asked their ages before choosing Jacob, as if sizing them up. Investigators still debate whether he'd been watching the boys earlier that day. This was no random act, it felt planned, deliberate, and deeply personal. The night of October 22, 1989, grows colder as Jacob Wetterling, Trevor, and Aaron stand frozen on County Road 12 in St. Joseph, Minnesota. The masked man's voice cuts through the silence, low and menacing. "What are your ages?" The boys stammer their answers: Jacob, 11, Trevor, 10, Aaron, 11. He orders Trevor and Aaron to run into the woods, threatening to shoot if they look back. Jacob stays behind, alone with the stranger. As the boys flee, their sneakers crunching on gravel, they hear nothing but their own ragged breaths. Aaron later recalls an eerie detail: the man's calm, almost rehearsed tone, as if he'd done this before. By the time the boys reach help and police arrive, Jacob and the man are gone, no tire tracks, no footprints, just a chilling void. The Stearns County Sheriff's Office sets up roadblocks within minutes, but the rural road offers no clues. Flashlights sweep the ditches, revealing only the boys' abandoned bikes. Investigators still debate whether the abductor knew the area's backroads, vanishing into the night with unsettling ease. The Wetterlings, now home, cling to hope, but the clock ticks past midnight. Jacob's red jacket, so visible in the dusk, is nowhere to be found. The community, unaccustomed to such horror, locks its doors for the first time. This moment marks the beginning of a decades-long mystery, one that would grip Minnesota and beyond, as a small town grapples with a predator who left no trace. By dawn on October 23, 1989, St. Joseph, Minnesota, is a town transformed. Word of Jacob Wetterling's abduction spreads, and hundreds of volunteers, neighbors, farmers, even strangers, flood the fields and woods along County Road 12. The Stearns County Sheriff's Office, led by Sheriff Charlie Graft, coordinates a massive search, with helicopters buzzing overhead and bloodhounds sniffing for Jacob's scent. The Tom Thumb store, where the boys rented a video hours earlier, becomes a command post. An eerie detail emerges: a local farmer reports seeing a strange car idling near the abduction site that night, its lights off, but no one can confirm its make. Volunteers comb miles of cornfields, finding only Jacob's bike, still lying in the ditch. The FBI joins, interviewing Trevor and Aaron, who describe the masked man's gravelly voice and dark clothing. Investigators still debate whether he was a local, familiar with St. Joseph's quiet roads, or a drifter passing through. The Wetterlings, Patty and Jerry, plead on local news, their voices cracking: "Jacob, we're looking for you." Churches hold vigils, and missing posters blanket Minnesota, showing Jacob's gap-toothed smile. As hours turn to days, the community's hope battles a growing dread. No ransom calls come, no witnesses emerge. The search expands to nearby lakes and forests, but the trail is maddeningly empty. As police noted earlier, the abductor's precision suggested planning, leaving St. Joseph to wonder how a predator could strike so boldly and vanish without a trace, taking an 11-year-old boy with him. Days turned to weeks in St. Joseph, Minnesota, and by November 1989, Jacob Wetterling's abduction case grows frustratingly cold. The Stearns County Sheriff's Office chases fleeting leads, a reported sighting in Minneapolis, a suspicious van in nearby St. Cloud, but each fizzles out. The FBI analyzes tire tracks near County Road 12, but heavy rain that week washed away critical evidence. An eerie detail lingers. A local boy tells police he saw a man watching kids at a hockey rink weeks before, his stare unsettling, yet no one followed up. Investigators still debate whether this was the abductor scouting his target. The Wetterlings, desperate for answers, established the Jacob Wetterling Foundation, channeling their grief into child safety advocacy. Patty's face becomes a fixture on news, urging parents to teach kids about stranger danger. Community searches dwindle, but volunteers still comb fields, hoping for a clue: Jacob's red jacket, a shoe, anything. The absence of a body fuels both hope and torment. Families whisper, he could still be alive. As police noted earlier, the abductor's clean escape suggests familiarity with the area, but no suspects emerge. St. Joseph's small-town trust erodes, replaced by locked doors and wary glances. The case haunts Minnesota, with Jacob's missing posters fading on telephone poles. Detectives sift through hundreds of tips, from psychics to anonymous calls, but none lead to Jacob. The silence is deafening, and the Wetterlings brace for a long, agonizing wait, unaware that the truth lies buried in a secret that won't surface for decades. By 1990, Jacob Wetterling's abduction remains unsolved, and whispers of a darker pattern emerge in Minnesota. The Stearns County Sheriff's Office digs into similar cases, like the 1989 assault of a 12-year-old boy in nearby Cold Spring, just 10 miles from St. Joseph. The victim described a man with a low voice, a detail chillingly close to Trevor and Aaron's account. An eerie fact surfaces: police had questioned a local man, Danny Heinrich, in the Cold Spring case, but released him for lack of evidence. His name now lingers in Jacob's file. Investigators still debate whether they missed a serial predator hiding in plain sight. The Wetterlings push forward, their foundation gaining national attention, even inspiring the 1994 Jacob Wetterling Act, mandating sex offender registries. Yet, behind closed doors, Patty and Jerry wrestle with despair, clinging to fading hopes of Jacob's return. Community tips slow to a trickle, and media coverage wanes, leaving St. Joseph quieter but scarred. Heinrich, a loner with a history of burglary, lives nearby, unnoticed, his military-style boots matching vague descriptions from the crime scene. As police noted earlier, the abductor's precision suggested local knowledge, but Heinrich's alibis hold, for now. Detectives pore over his past, finding troubling incidents: a string of unsolved assaults on boys in nearby Painesville between 1986 and 1988. Could they be linked? The question gnaws, but without physical evidence, the trail stalls. Jacob's absence looms over Minnesota, his hockey-loving smile frozen on fading posters, while a predator slips through the cracks, his secrets buried deep. In 2015, a faint spark reignites the Jacob Wetterling case, dormant for over 25 years. The Stearns County Sheriff's Office, now aided by advanced DNA technology, revisits Danny Heinrich, a name that surfaced back in 1990. A chilling breakthrough emerges: DNA from a 1990 Cold Spring assault on a boy, long thought unrelated, matches Heinrich's profile, secured from a 2012 arrest for unrelated charges. An eerie detail surfaces: Heinrich owned a red Ford EXP in 1989, similar to the strange car a farmer saw idling near County Road 12, as noted earlier. Investigators still debate whether police could have connected Heinrich sooner, given his history in nearby Painesville assaults. The FBI zeroes in, searching Heinrich's Annandale home, just 20 miles from St. Joseph, uncovering a cache of child pornography and boys' clothing, though none confirmed as Jacob's. Heinrich, now 52, remains tight-lipped, but the evidence mounts. The Wetterlings, weathered by decades of grief, brace for answers as media swarms Minnesota again. Jacob's missing posters, faded but never forgotten, resurface on news broadcasts. The search pivots to Heinrich's past movements, mapping his proximity to St. Joseph on October 22, 1989. Detectives, haunted by earlier oversights, push for a confession, but Heinrich's lawyer signals a plea deal. The community holds its breath, sensing a resolution to the case that reshaped their town. As police noted earlier, the abductors' familiarity with the area pointed to a local, and now, Heinrich's quiet life unravels, pulling the truth of Jacob's fate closer to the surface. In September 2016, Danny Heinrich stands in a Minnesota courtroom, his plea deal forcing a grim truth to light. Facing child pornography charges and mounting evidence linking him to the 1990 Cold Spring assault, he confesses to Jacob Wetterling's abduction and murder on October 22, 1989. His voice, flat and unemotional, recounts luring Jacob from County Road 12, driving him to a Painesville field, and killing him hours later. An eerie detail chills the room. Heinrich kept Jacob's red jacket, the one so visible in the dusk, as a trophy, hidden for years. Investigators still debate whether Heinrich acted alone or if others knew of his crimes. The Wetterlings, present in court, hear the unbearable. Jacob's remains are in a field they'd searched decades ago. Heinrich leads police there, and on September 1, 2016, skeletal remains and that red jacket confirm the worst. As police noted earlier, the abductors' precision suggested planning, now revealed as Heinrich's calculated brutality. The confession spares Heinrich a murder trial, but he's sentenced to 20 years for pornography charges, enraging many in St. Joseph. The community mourns, their long-held hope shattered, yet relieved by closure. Patty Wetterling, through tears, vows to keep fighting for missing children. The field, once a place of searches and vigils, becomes a memorial site, marked by a simple stone. Heinrich's words, though final, leave lingering questions about his Painesville assaults and whether Jacob was his only victim. Minnesota grapples with a truth that's both an answer and a wound, forever tied to a boy's stolen life. The confession of Danny Heinrich in 2016 ripples beyond St. Joseph, Minnesota, reshaping a decades-long narrative. Jacob Wetterling's case, once a symbol of unresolved grief, becomes a catalyst for change. The Jacob Wetterling Resource Center, born from Patty and Jerry's advocacy in 1990, grows into a national force, training families on child safety and supporting missing children's cases. An eerie detail lingers. Heinrich admitted to stalking Painesville boys for years, suggesting Jacob's abduction was part of a chilling pattern. Investigators still debate whether other unsolved cases in Minnesota link to him, as no further charges are filed. The 1994 Jacob Wetterling Act, inspired by the case, gains renewed attention, strengthening sex offender registries nationwide. In St. Joseph, the field where Jacob's remains were found transforms into a quiet memorial, with his hockey-loving smile etched in community memory. As police noted earlier, Heinrich's familiarity with the area enabled his clean escape, a fact that still haunts local law enforcement. Patty Wetterling channels her pain into speaking tours, urging vigilance without fear, ensuring Jacob's legacy endures. The town, once fractured by distrust, finds unity in remembrance, with annual vigils drawing hundreds. Yet, the plea deal, 20 years for Heinrich, no murder conviction, stirs debate, leaving some feeling justice was incomplete. Jacob's red jacket, recovered from that Painesville field, is returned to the Wetterlings, a bittersweet relic of a boy who never came home. His case, though solved, leaves Minnesota with a sobering truth: a predator hid among them, unnoticed, for far too long, changing a small town and a nation forever.